Let this story wrap you in warmth and bring you restful dreams. Euphorbia and the Singing Meadow. This story is about a kind girl named Euphorbia, who brings life back to a wilted flower, teaching the village the beauty of nurture. Once upon a time, in a picturesque village nestled between rolling hills and serene lakes, lived a kind-hearted girl named Euphorbia. She cherished nothing more than spending her days tending to the vast singing meadow known as Gazania. This meadow wasn't like any other. It had an enchanting beauty, and when the wind swept through, the flowers would sing in harmonious melodies. Euphorbia's gentle hands nurtured each bloom, understanding that every flower had its unique song. One sunny morning, Euphorbia found a wilted flower separated from the others. It looked frail and lifeless, and she quickly knelt beside it. "For a little one," she whispered, carefully scooping the flower into her palms. With an innate sense of compassion, Euphorbia decided to bring the flower back to her cottage. There, she placed it in a pot by the window, where sunlight kissed its petals and fresh water eased its thirst. Days turned into weeks, and the flower began to regain its strength. Every morning, the girl sang to the flower, her melodies merging with the songs from Gazania. Gradually, the flower stood tall, and its colors blossomed vibrantly. One magical evening, the flower's first few notes whispered into the twilight. Euphorbia's eyes sparkled with joy as she realized the flower was singing its own unique song. Over time, this revitalized flower became Gazania's brightest star. It sang the loudest, its melody filled with gratitude and warmth, attracting other creatures who wandered into the meadow to bask in its splendor. Euphorbia and Gazania, hand in hand, taught everyone on the simple, yet profound, duty of nurture. Harmonies filled the meadow, and the village thrived, resonating with the songs of care, mutual respect, and love. The bonds forged in this nurturing space were unbreakable, and Euphorbia's heart swelled with pride seeing the meadow flourish under her gentle care. And so, within the serenity of this tiny village, the legacy of nurture lived on, carried by the wind that sang for Gazania, reminding everyone of the power of a kind touch and a caring heart. Now, let's embrace the next chapter. The Seasons of Friendship. This story is about the unbreakable friendship between Euphorbia and Borage, which flourished and thrived through the seasons. In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and lush meadows, lived a kind-hearted person named Euphorbia. Euphorbia was known for her deep love for the changing seasons, each one bringing its own charm and wonder into her life. One spring morning, as she was planting new flowers in her garden, Euphorbia noticed a small figure watching her from behind a mushroom. It was Borage, a gnome with a beard as white as snow and eyes twinkling like stars. Borage shyly introduced himself and offered to help Euphorbia with her garden. From that day on, the two became inseparable friends, sharing their joys and sorrows as the seasons changed. During summer, they would bask in the sun, swimming in the cool river, and picking fruits from the orchards. As autumn leaves turned golden and red, they gathered nuts and told stories by the crackling fireplace. In winter, they built snowmen and drank hot cocoa, their laughter echoing in the crisp, cold air. Spring brought new beginnings with blooming flowers, and together they celebrated life anew. Years went by, but their friendship remained as strong and beautiful as the first day they met. Euphorbia and Borage had found in each other the perfect companion to enjoy the ever-changing tapestry of seasons. Here, another story to bring you calm. Buttercup and Blossom. This story is about the friendship between a girl named Buttercup and a fairy named Blossom, who together transformed their village through acts of generosity and kindness. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village surrounded by blooming meadows and singing brooks, lived a young girl named Buttercup. Buttercup had golden hair that gleamed in the sunlight, and a smile that could warm even the coldest of hearts. One afternoon, as she was exploring a garden near the edge of the village, she discovered a tiny sparkling creature caught in a web amongst the roses. It was Blossom, a delicate fairy with wings like shimmering rainbows. Buttercup gently freed Blossom, and the fairy, grateful for the human's kindness, fluttered round her. "You saved me," Blossom said, with a voice as sweet as honey. "How can I ever repay you?" Buttercup simply smiled and said, "You don't need to repay me. But seeing you free and happy is enough." Over the next few weeks, a beautiful friendship blossomed between Buttercup and Blossom. They spent their days tending to the garden, playing by the brook, and sharing stories of their worlds. One day, Blossom noticed that Buttercup's family did not have enough food. She decided to use her magic to help. That night, as Buttercup slept, Blossom waved her wand and transformed the small garden into a bountiful paradise. In the morning, Buttercup awoke to find ripe fruits, vegetables, and herbs in abundance. Her family rejoiced and thanked Buttercup, who in turn thanked Blossom. Blossom's generosity didn't stop there. She continued to use her fairy magic to help the village thrive. Flowers bloomed all year round. The brook always had fresh and pure water, and the harvests were plentiful. The villagers, curious about the sudden change, began to suspect a magical presence. But Buttercup never revealed her friend's secret. Instead, she taught the villagers about kindness and generosity, which she had learned from Blossom. Over time, the village became known for its generosity and the kindness of its residents. Blossom's magic and Buttercup's loving heart had transformed not just their garden, but their entire community. Blossom and Buttercup's friendship grew even stronger, showing that true generosity and kindness can create miracles. And they lived happily ever after, in a village that flourished with love and magic. Let's continue with a peaceful, gentle tale. Gloxinia and Crocus, a tale of sharing. This story is about the heartwarming bond between Gloxinia, a kind-hearted woman, and Crocus, an injured bear, soft-hearted the beauty of sharing and the unity it brings. In a picturesque village nestled between verdant hills, a kind-hearted woman named Gloxinia lived in a cozy cottage adorned with vibrant flowers. Every morning, Gloxinia would tend to her garden, sharing her surplus harvest with her neighbors, bringing smiles to many faces. One day, while Gloxinia was picking ripe strawberries, she heard a soft growl from the nearby forest. She ventured into the woods and discovered a large, fluffy bear with golden brown fur lying under a tree. The bear, named Crocus, had injured his paw and was unable to forage for food. Gloxinia, with her nurturing spirit, decided to help the bear by sharing her food and tending to his wound. Over the next few days, Gloxinia visited Crocus, bringing fresh fruits and bandaging his paw with care. They quickly formed a bond, with Crocus sharing stories of the forest and Gloxinia sharing tales of the village. Their friendship blossomed, and soon Crocus was back to his robust self. As a gesture of gratitude, Crocus brought Gloxinia honey and nuts from the deepest parts of the forest. Gloxinia decided to host a feast for the villagers and invited Crocus to join. The villagers were initially apprehensive about the bear, but as Crocus shared his forest treasures and stories, they welcomed him with open arms. The feast was filled with laughter, joy, and a sense of community. Gloxinia and Crocus' act of sharing had brought everyone closer, highlighting the importance of kindness and generosity. From that day on, The village and the forest were united, and Gloxinia and Crocus continued to share their lives, creating many more heartwarming memories together. Good night, and may you wake up to a bright new morning.